Good afternoon. This is Ned Oshiro. I'm an American English pronunciation coach. How are you today? Let me start with the statistical figures related to the coronavirus. As far as this number of people infected with coronavirus, that figure remains at 142. But I'm sorry to report to you that the death related to this coronavirus rose to 6 yesterday, because one person died from it. But as far as this infection is concerned, the still figures same as before. I hope this figures maintain as they are right now. Okay, first of all, let me make some two announcements. First of all, is that this coming Friday night at starting 8 p.m., I'll hold the workshop on the differentiation between R and L in pronunciation. And another one is a 3-day online free seminar, which starts at the 8 p.m. starting 16th, 17th, 18th. So 3-day seminar. All the details are be found. You can get all details in the description box below. You go there and then apply for this. If you jump to this URL, you'll be able to find this application form, which details all the information you need to know about these events. Okay, today I'd like to talk about the 7 ways to smoothly carry out conversation in English. First of all, it's very common, and also when I started learning English, I also found this expression cliche. That is that whenever you are asked by a foreigner about your health, say, how are you today? We Japanese tend to reply by saying, I'm fine, thank you, and you? I'm fine, thank you, and you? I'm sure that you heard this thousands, 100 times if you are familiar with this scene. But if you go to the bookstores in Japan, you still find this expression is very useful. They say it's very useful, but as you know, so all cliched is kind of worn out, and often spoken by, used by these non-Japanese and non-native English speakers. So it's kind of very boring, and then even tiresome to listen to such an expression. So what I want to say is, don't use it. Don't say this. I'm fine and thank you. I'm fine, thank you, and you? Whenever you ask about your health, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. You? Oh, not bad. Nothing much, but it's okay with something like that. So try to avoid that this cliche expression. And and second thing is that whenever Japanese people carrying the conversation with the foreigners, they tend to listen to what this foreigner is saying. You only one-sided, the conversation. Meaning, conversation is supposed to go both ways. It should go. You ask him, and then he or she asks you. Right? Tells you something. That's the way it has to be ping-pong game. But in case of Japanese, I'm afraid because they are, afraid of making mistakes, and then they don't know what to say, so they tend to just listen. They tend to be silent while listening to the person he or she is talking to. But you got to ask once in a while. You got to ask questions once in a while. So don't wait to ask questions. You have to proactively ask the questions. That way, that's the only way you can carry out conversation, or so-called conversation, right? And thirdly, you ask open-ended questions. If you ask closed-ended questions, for example, do you like the Japanese dishes? If the person said no, the conversation ends there, right? It doesn't go beyond that. So if you ask open-ended question, for example, like, what do you think of Japanese dishes? He or she might, explain to you little details, or I like it, or I don't like it because this and this, right? So if you're going to ask questions, try to use that open-ended question so that the conversation go beyond whatever that point. And maybe perhaps that the appropriate question you can ask these days lately is that how are you coping with this coronavirus? Are you self-quarantining at home, or what do you do in the weekends? Or how are you going to manage to do a shopping? Things like this. You can ask many things, but don't ask him. I mean, don't wait until these people asking you the questions only. I mean, in other words, proactively, you got to be very active in taking this conversation, taking part in the conversation. And that's right. Fourthly, is that what you have to do is that you should start once in a while. You should ask some question. You praise it. You say something about nice thing about dress or whatever he or she is wearing, right? So, for example, say what you're wearing a really gorgeous dress today or something, or maybe the dress you're wearing today, I like it. I like that the dress you're wearing. Things like this. In other words, you just in order to smoothly carry that conversation, once in a while you have to tell him or her that you like that, praising about things or he or she's doing, or the clothes or the dress she's or he's wearing. Because it's not customary things for Japanese to praise about something. So, but I understand that. But if you want to make that conversation smoothly, you have to say something very nice, positively about the person. And of course, and that goes to the fifth one though, is that don't lie just because to help smoothly carry out the conversation. Don't say something you don't really feel in your mind, you don't think in your mind. Another, it's obvious, right? If you lie, and for example, the dress he or she's wearing is not that attractive, but still you say, oh, that the dress you're wearing is so nice, beautiful. If the person himself or herself thinks this dress is not really good, he might think, oh, maybe this person is very cynical about it, right? So be honest with your question, the opinion, and try to say something very nice about it. And this sixth thing is that whenever you carry the conversation with someone, you tend to focus on subject general subjects, say weather, politics, economy, whatever. But it's dull and then boring. In order to be, establish some better relationship, a closer relationship with the person you're talking to, you got to reveal or disclose some portion of your privacy. I'm not saying you should open up everything. No, I'm just saying that you should tell them or him or her about your private life. For example, I'm planning to go to the restaurant you recommended this weekend. Things like this. You can tell them about it. Tell them about what you want to do in the future. Maybe you want in the near future. I'm thinking about visiting the country, the United States. Things like this, right? So it's in order to get better in your relationship with that person, you have to reveal some of your private life. And lastly, all these things that you want to say, especially if you anticipate to have a meeting with some foreigners in the near future, you should anticipate and write it down, all these questions and answers. You can think about it, right? And you can anticipate, okay, when I see him or her, maybe I will say this. And then perhaps at the questions, if I get the answer, question like this, and I'm going to answer this, like this. So you just have to anticipate the question and answers. Of course, you have to memorize all these answers, and you practice a lot so that these expressions and phrases will come out, naturally, out of your mouth naturally. So that's the things that you should prepare yourself for these scenes. So very important. And so, but what I understand from the past experience, though, is that although Japanese people, once they keep saying that I want to practice, I want to practice speaking English, but then when I ask them, okay, have you memorized all these expressions, the ways I just explained to you, anticipated scenes, and then you come up with some sort of answer for these each of these scenes? They say, no, I never thought about it. Not many people deeply think about what they want to say. So what I'm saying is that in order to make this carry out a smooth conversation, you got to have some sort of efforts. You have to put the efforts into it and memorize all these sentences, so that when you meet this person for the first time or second time, doesn't matter, you can say it smoothly. So these are the things that and once you get hang of it, once you get the hang of it, it comes naturally. You can do it. You can always prepare yourself for a meeting. So whenever you go to have a meeting with someone, foreigner, in the near future, write it down. You can imagine what's going to, what's going to be what's the purpose of the meeting, right? So you would know that what things that are going to be being discussed. So you just write it down, the questions and answers, and you just memorize them. That's it. Okay, thank you very much. My God, it's a really tongue twister. Thank you very much. Bye now.